Hi, this is Rich Coles from Prodactive. So with Smartsheet, there's so many fantastic things you can create, and we hope we've inspired you with lots of the videos that you might have seen on our YouTube channel so far. But when you're first starting out, knowing how to build a solution can be somewhat daunting. And so we thought we'd provide this tutorial to build a simple solution so you can see the building blocks for yourself. Now, there are lots of fantastic solutions and templates already out there from Smartsheet. So again, you can use those, or again, Smartsheet's advancing so that you'll create solutions for you. But knowing the building blocks will help you no end when it comes to going, how can you take this a step further? So here at Prodactive, we love inspiring people. We love helping unlock potential and transforming execution. So please do reach out to us if we can help you in any way, or keep watching for more content, which we hope really helps you unlock what you can achieve with Smartsheet. So what can you expect in this tutorial today? Well, let me just go to the picture. So we've got a tutorial where we were going to run you through various steps for this tutorial. And in here, we've got a step-by-step guide, which you'll be able to download at the end of this. And you've got a scenario which you go through, which is about creating a simple task list. And you're going to use forms, sheets, reports, and dashboards, all in this tutorial. And then you've got various step-by-step actions that you can take as you follow along. And as you follow along, you're going to be able to create this dashboard. As you can see here on your screen, this will be the end result. And you're going to have a task list, you're going to have a form on that task list, and you're going to have various reports as well. So without further ado, why don't we dive in to the tutorial and let's get started. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to create a workspace. In here I've got a simple solution demo space, and I'm going to create a task list. Why the task list? Because this is a sheet that you're going to create. And again, you could create many different things. I've used the task list because it's pre-populated with various columns and status as well. So I've named it task list. And so from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some basic tasks in here as well, just to get started. So let's just put a few tasks in, and here we go. So you're going to paste these tasks in, and I'm going to put that as T-2 for 2 days ago, T-1, so that's overdue, and then I'm going to put that for today, T+1. And again, you can choose the dates as you're going, so I'm just selecting dates, but there's a nice smart way that you can write the letter T and a plus, and it'll give you the date, so T+3, for example. Now, I'm going to assign these all to myself, so Demo Prodactive in here, and I'm going to say not right now on this bit, and I'm just going to drag that down. Status, I'm just going to put in a status not started, and I'm going to, again, I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to press D, and it's filled down, and I'm going to save as I go. So you've now got your task list, everything's in there. I'm just going to show you a little other feature. So if we go to the board view or card view, I'm going to go to the board view, and I'm going to take the first two tasks here, and I'm going to drag them into in progress. And what you'll be able to see is this is updating. So I'm going to just drag this first one to say it's complete. Let's go back to the grid view, and you'll see that the status has been updated automatically here for you, which is fantastic. So what are we going to do now is we're going to do a bit of formatting. So I'm going to wrap the text. So I'm going to press this button here to wrap all the text. And you'll see this column has come down. So I'm just going to make it a bit wider on this side. And there's lots of formatting that you can do as you go. But for keeping it simple, I'm going to stop there. So we've now created this task list. And the next thing we're going to do is create a sheet summary. So it's this button here for a sheet summary. Sheet summaries can be used for many different things to put information about the sheet, or you can use it to create metrics. So we're going to use it to create metrics, and the metrics we're going to have are for the status of not started, in progress, and complete. Here we go. So I've added these to the sheet summary. Why am I doing this? Well, that's kind of the next piece that you'll see now, which comes in, because I'm going to put a little formula in here, and the formula which I'm going to put into here is going to be this one here, equals count if status not started. So what it's doing is it's looking at the status column and it's counting if the status is not started. And you can see that 4 items are not started. So if we now copy that, put it into the in progress, change that to be in progress and put a space in the middle and enter, and you can see there's one that's in progress, and paste again and change that to be complete, and you can see that these numbers are now correct. So the great thing here is now you've got metrics that you can use for charts and reports and things like that as well. So sheet summary can be used in many different ways, more videos on that in due course, but let's go forwards now. So we've created the metric sheet. Let's do a few more things with this sheet here. So we're going to add in conditional formatting. So this button here is for conditional formatting. You'll see it's already got a rule set up here. So we're going to add a new rule. So for this one, we're going to set condition, and we're going to say when the due date is in the past. So let's just find in the past, press OK, and then we're going to say and then add a condition to it. So it says when the due date is in the past and where done is unchecked. Okay, apply this format. Let's say make it orange. So to the whole row, and let's say OK to the whole row. Now if I say that's done, you can see now it's just leaving this one as marked. So conditional formatting is very powerful because it's a way of highlighting, making things more visual on your sheet really quickly on that side. So this is applied to the whole row. So we've got conditional formatting. What about reminders? So that if we haven't done the task, we want a little reminder. So let's add in a little automation, and I'm going to create it from scratch. And I'm going to call this one, so always good to give it a name, and I'm going to call this alert me when overdue. And the trigger is going to be when a date is reached, because I want to know when it's overdue. I'm going to say it's on the date field, and I'm going to say run once, 1 day after the item is due. And I'm going to say, let's put it for 9 o'clock in the morning. So let's set that to 9 o'clock in the morning. And when I'm going to say conditions, when done is not checked. What I want it to do is I want it to alert someone. And who do I want it to alert? Well, the person who's accountable for the task. So send to specific, contacts in a cell. And I'm going to say assigned to. So, and look, it's saying some recipients may not get notified, so we'll have to go and change settings. And then we can customize the message here. So let's just say I'm going to send it from the triggering user on this side. And what we want it to say, let's give it a title. So we're going to say the little message in the email that someone will receive, and the notification will be task overdue, and it says task name. And then we could add a little message in here, for example. So let's just think of what could we write in here. I'm going to paste and say, note this task is overdue. And then you can select what information it sends. I'm going to say the links to the sheet and all fields, because there's no need for anything else. And we're going to press save on this one. So it already created this alert here. I'm going to delete this one because we don't want it. You might want to, well, I'm going to leave it actually because you might want to use it later on. But alert me when overdue. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to test this one. So I'm going to say test now, and I'm going to trigger on specific rows, row 2, for example, and I'm going to run workflow, and that is thinking about it. It's taking it longer. There you go. And it has run successfully. And we should see now that this one is popped up, work through the exercises. So we now know this is working. So it's good to have tested it. It's a good little feature that you can do to test it. And so we know it is working on that side. let's just go back to the automation. So just one little reminder, if you want to check the settings, so this only sends it to people on your sheet, limited and unrestricted. You can read that in your own time, but that's how you make sure the automations go to the right people. So we've now got the sheet set up. What else do we need to do here? We want to create a form. So I'm going to click on Forms and I'm going to press Create a Form. And what it's doing is it's auto-populating the form for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name of this to be Submit New Task. And the aim here is that someone on the dashboard can submit a new task. I'm going to put this so it's lined up in the middle, and we could add a description. So here for the task name, I'm just going to go down and say you need to give the task a name, and I'm going to make it multi-line box. So you've got 3 lines which are going in. Due date, I'm going to leave that. We don't need done on the form. In terms of assign to, we can assign it to whoever. And status, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a default value of not started because it's just been aligned. And then comments, I'm going to also make that a multi-line box, and I'm going to press save. Now at this point you can go to the settings and change various things, or the messages, etc. I'll let you play around with that in your own time. So we've now got the submit the new task, and I'm going to press open the form, and you can see that the form is working on that side. So leave that open because we're going to want this URL in a moment. So if I just go back to the task list, and there we have it. So this has got the form created. So next stage, we're going to create a new item which is called a report. The report is going to take information, and then we'll be able to use this on the dashboard so you know what is happening, what's the status of the tasks, easily viewable on the dashboard. So I can do it now from this side panel. So I'm going to press add, and I'm going to say add a row report, and I'm going to call this report task list report. He says report. I've added that, and in terms of the source sheet, I want it to find the source sheet. So I'm going to my workspace. I've got it in the simple solution demo task list. So I'm going to press OK, and it's going to ask what columns does it want me to include. So if I click on the columns, I'm going to say I want the due date, I want assigned to, and then I want the comments. So added all those items in. I don't want this one, so I can get rid of it, remove the column, and I can rename this one to be the task. So rename that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the width of the columns just so it fits a bit better. Here we go. And comments, that we want to be a bit wider for comments, and press save. So we have now created that. What else do we want to do? We just want to group this. The power of grouping is I'm going to say please group, and you'll see what happens in a moment. So please group by status and sort descending. And so now what it's going to do is it's going to group these items together so you can see them on the dashboard in this way. Press save. Well, it's done, saved already. So that is now done. What we can also do, so this goes on the dashboard, is create some metrics. So you've got some of the data which creates the charts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new report, and I'm going to call this a sheet summary report. In this one, I'm going to call it task list metrics report. And in this sheet, so source sheet, again, is going to ask where am I getting the data from. I'm going to click on task list, and it's going to say what fields do you want to come to here. And so in terms of the columns to display, I'm going to say I want to have not started, in progress, and complete. And so you can see it's pulling the data that we created previously in the summary sheet. So this is the metrics report, and you can start using that in the dashboard as well. But we're not at the dashboard yet. We're also going to have an alternative. So whilst you can create metrics on a dashboard from a report. I personally prefer to have a metrics sheet, which can be more flexible for more complex requirements. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in a sheet as a grid, and we're going to call this task list metrics sheet. And in this sheet, what we're going to do, or just task list metrics sheet, what we're going to do is in the primary column, we're just going to add in these items here. So you can see it's the same metrics: status, not started, in progress, complete. And I'm going to call this column metric. Okay. And in this one, I'm going to call this one data. We don't need these four columns even. So I'm going to delete them. And what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to indent these. So you can see I've indented, and just for a bit of differentiation, I always like to add a bit of color so we can see the status of this. So status, not started, in progress, and complete. So how do we get the data into here? What we're going to do is I'm going to put in a little formula into this first one for not started. I'm going to say count if, and it's asking me to reference another sheet. So now it's going to say, where do you want to take this data from? So I'm going to go to the simple solution and find the data in this sheet. So it's pulling up the sheet for me. And when it does, I'm going to ask to find the status. And what we're doing is we are asking it to count if the status is the same as this, not started. And you can see it's then counting for 4, and I can drag this down and it's going to count in progress and complete from that same sheet. So press refresh, that's fine. So the data is now updated. So the power here is you can use more complex formulas such as countifs across multiple factors, and so you can have, again, create charts which has got multiple different settings in, whereas on a report there are different reasons when you might use that as well. So we now have the metric sheet, and we've also got the metric sheet in for the report. So let's just refresh. Let me just cancel and save. And I'm going to refresh everything, and you'll see as I refresh it that in the side panel, all those items I've been naming are here: metrics, metric sheet, and report. So where are we on to now? Let's go and create the dashboard, which is what this is all about. So if I click on add, I'm going to create a dashboard, and he says, I'll try again, create a dashboard. Thank you. And as ever, I'm going to call this task list dashboard. And the first thing it wants me to do is add a widget. So let's just put in a title and call this task list. Task list dashboard. And I'm just going to put that so it's across to the left. Task list dashboard. So we now want some data to go into the dashboard. So what are we going to do? So in here, let's go and add in the first item, which is going to be the chart. So I'm going to click on chart and add data. And what I'm going to ask it to take the data from is the demo. And I'm going to look at our metrics sheet here. It's pulling up the data, and I'm going to select the columns which we have used and press OK. And you can see it's created a chart for me. You can have this pie chart. If you wanted the pie chart, you could change it and do various things in terms of make it a semicircle, etc. So you can play around with the charts. In this case, the chart type we're going to use is going to be a bar. And I'm just going to press this button here to switch rows and columns. What it means now is I'll get the names down here at the side. In terms of the series, I want to show the value label. on here. And the legend, we don't need the legend because it's not really helping in this case. So I'm going to switch off the legend. And I'm now going to drag this down and make it a bit wider on the dashboard. That's about right. How much space is left to the side? We'll just adjust that a bit as we go forward. Okay, so we've got the report on here. The last thing we can do is we can edit the title of this one, task list. What are we going to call this? We're just going to call this task list status. Okay, so that's a quick, simple way of being able to see the status of the tasks. And then next stage from here is we are going to add in forms. So I'm going to click on plus sign here. And if we go to shortcut, I'm going to add a shortcut. And what do we want to add? We want to add a link to the form. So if I click on website, I'm going to go to where I created the form, copy the URL and paste the link in here. And I'm going to call this submit new task. Submit new task. What else do I want to do? I'm going to get rid of the title because we don't really need that. I'm going to make this a bit narrower and shorter. And I'm going to drag this to the top of the sheet and over to the side. So what else? So you can either submit a new task by clicking on that, but just so you've got experience in doing this as well, we're just going to add in, he says, undo. Just going to add in a form to the side here as well. So let's click and add in web content again, add content, and still got the same link. It has indeed. So get rid of the title, and this we can make nice and narrow so it fits to the side. You can see I can drag it up here, submit new task. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag this down. Now I think that should be a bit wider. So I'm going to move this across. That's looking about right. Now okay, so let's just save our work as we go. So now we've got it, submit a new task. I can click on this and it'll open the form, or I can add in data from the form here. So the last bit we want to add into here is a view of, so I'm going to click on edit, add in a report again, and in this report, what am I going to add in? I'm going to go to the sheets, the simple solution demo, and I'm going to add in the task list report. Now we can see exactly the status of the tasks that are here thus far. And let's just move this up. We don't need this to be quite as long as it is. Those bars can be much thinner. Drag that up. And what we can do now is bring this down. Bring this down as well. Here we go. In fact, just need to be a bit longer, so you've got the full length of the form with the privacy notice, etc. Okay, so now the task list report is in here, and in this final item, what we can do is task list summary, task list summary, and what we can do is click on the widget behavior. And what we want to do is to open the data source. So if I click save, what it means now is if someone clicks on it, it will open the data source on this side. So this way it's easy for someone to go in and change and update the status on this one to say this is almost complete, for example, and someone could update it from this view as well. So let's just go back to the task list. You can see this will have been updated as well, almost complete. So if we just go back to the overall dashboard, here, task list dashboard, you now have the final view of the dashboard. Last thing you can do now is play around with it and decide what colors you want. Do you want to go forest? Do you want to go deep space, starry night, or just simple retro, which I think I've used? And so that very quickly is the essence of creating a whole solution in not much time at all. There you have it, an end-to-end solution which we trust has been useful for you, and appreciate it would have gone fast in that video, but you can download the tutorial and the video and you can get access to the actual solution. So if you're interested, please do click on those links and have a go for yourself. And I trust this helps you understand those elements, because once you've got those in your mind, you can then go and build all sorts of other solutions. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.